You ever notice how peace is always something you're chasing? Like it's just a little further down the road, past all the neighbors and the city limits and the rules somebody else wrote. Yeah, that was me thinking I'd finally caught it when I signed the deed for 12 acres of mountain ridge tucked deep into the San Juans, Colorado, where you can hear your own thoughts echo off the pines, and nobody cares what color you paint your porch. I wasn't looking for luxury unless you call silence and self-sufficiency a luxury, just me, a cabin with glass walls, some solar panels humming in the breeze, and maybe, if I ever got tired of being tough, a helipad for when the snow came in heavy and the road turned into a memory. Everything was perfect. At least it looked that way from a distance. County was happy. Permits, stamped, no city lines to cross, no nosy neighbors to tattle. We carved the road halfway up the slope, gravel trucks coming up like a line of ants, foundation crew setting stakes, and me living out of a beat-up military trailer I'd turned into a command post. It felt like the start of something big right up until the HOA decided it was their mountain, not mine. I remember the day they showed up. 3 of them all matching blue jackets, tactical belts, earpieces, as if someone ordered Neighborhood Watch off a military surplus website. They rolled up in a Jeep Aspen Vista HOA magnet stuck to the doors like they thought it made them official. First guy out looked like an ex-Marine who got left at the bus stop, just stared me down. Second one, younger, softer, nervous. And then the ringleader, Karen Delaney, president, clipboard, sunglasses, hair done like she was here for a photo shoot. She didn't ask. She told. "Are you the property owner?" That's the kind of tone that says guilty until proven neighborly. I wiped the dust off my hands, told her straight, "Caleb Mills, this is my land. Can I help you?" She didn't care about names, just waved that clipboard around, talking about future community development maps and plans nobody ever showed me. I told her, "Ma'am, this isn't your HOA. You're a mile and a half that way across the ridge." She just smiled like I'd brought a rubber knife to a gunfight. She said, "That's the current boundary, but our expansion plan includes this slope." She had some laminated, lopsided map with a dotted line wandering across terrain she probably never hiked. I pulled my paperwork, county deeds, permits, signatures, GPS tags. She barely glanced at them. "Oh, honey," she said, "you think that trumps our vision?" That's when I called the sheriff. Sheriff Brian Cole, honest man, showed up in less than an hour, checked every document twice, and told Karen, point blank, "This is unincorporated county land. Mills owns it. You got no say." Karen gave me a smile that could freeze water, promised it wasn't over, then stomped back to her Jeep with her security detail trailing behind. And I stood there thinking maybe that was it. Maybe people just needed the law spelled out. But the silence after they left was different, heavy, the kind you get before a storm. 2 days later, right as I was brewing coffee, I heard the hiss, angry, mechanical, not natural at all. Walked out to find my foreman Frank cursing beside a dead bulldozer, sand in the hydraulics, skid loader tires slashed, excavator wires cut. This wasn't teenagers with nothing better to do. This was sabotage methodical. Frank found a piece of black nylon near the loader Aspen Vista HOA security right on the patch. We saw the tire tracks, Jeep treads, just like the one Karen drove. I called the sheriff again, but what could they do? No witnesses, no cameras, just a mess. That changed by sundown. I had trail cams up, infrared motion-triggered, every angle covered. And I called in backup Rigo Moreno, old army buddy, the kind of guy you'd trust to cover your six even if all hell broke loose. He showed up with rifles, a cooler full of beer, and a grin. Didn't think I'd end up babysitting construction equipment, but here we are. While he set up the perimeter, I headed into town, needed the county planning office to know I wasn't backing down. Except they were waiting for me. Front desk clerk looked guilty, sent me to a junior guy named Levi, who pushed a file across the desk. Someone had challenged my permit. Claimed my land was part of Aspen Vista's expansion. submitted a decades-old blurry map and an affidavit from the previous owner, Harold Driscoll. Said he agreed to join the HOA expansion. Only I knew Harold, mean old miner, wouldn't have signed anything short of a peace treaty with the devil. Levi said it came from the HOA's legal team, so everything was on hold. That's when I knew this wasn't about boundaries anymore. It was war by paperwork. I called Catherine Blunt, local attorney, property rights pitbull. She took one look at the map and laughed. Metadata said it was made 3 weeks ago. Signature lifted off a permit from 2009. She drafted a cease and desist, filed a formal complaint for fraud. While she worked, I headed back up the mountain, and Rigo doubled the perimeter. More sensors, more lights, and a gut feeling that things were about to get worse. I was right. Just after midnight, the cameras pinged vehicle movement south perimeter. Rigo and I went dark, slipped through the trees, watched an old John Deere tractor crawl up the slope. 3 figures masked but cocky figured no one would stop them. One tried ramming my trailer. Another had a pry bar. Third tried to run. We intercepted quick and quiet. One took a swing with a pipe. I put him down. Rigo handled the other 2. Sheriff came, arrested the lot, found Aspen Vista HOA ID on one. The GoPro on our ATV caught the whole thing clear as day, tools in hand, not a doubt what they were there to do. Sheriff Cole said I could have shot them. I told him, figured they'd be more useful with teeth left to talk. They got charged. Trespassing, attempted destruction, conspiracy. Not a slap on the wrist, but not enough. I filed another complaint, tied the attack to the forged documents and the HOA's campaign against me. Catherine held a press conference, laid out the sabotage impersonation fraud. That night, the sheriff confirmed one of the attackers was HOA security. News headline the next morning, mountain landowner fights back against HOA hostility. Damn right I did. But Karen didn't quit. She doubled down. Hit piece in the local paper painted me as a paramilitary millionaire destroying the mountains, called Rigo a mercenary. Flyers taped to mailboxes. Stop Caleb Mills. They even sent a lawyer to offer me $450,000 and an NDA to just walk away. I left the envelope unopened. Next night, alarms blared again. Caught a kid with a crowbar, said his uncle from the HOA sent him. The DA charged him with criminal conspiracy, not just trespassing. Now we had a real case. Catherine dug into the HOA's expenses, over $90,000 spent on design proposals, brochures, marketing for an expansion that didn't exist. They'd drawn up parks, dog runs, even a helipad. She found emails, Karen promising the board I'd be gone soon. Delusional or just ruthless didn't matter. The courts resumed work on my permit, and as we poured the concrete for the foundation, Karen paused her SUV at the edge of the trail just long enough for us to lock eyes. She knew she'd lost the bluff, but it wasn't over. Courtrooms are never louder than the silence before a verdict, and when Karen walked in, she looked every bit the villain, outnumbered, outgunned, and out of time. The DA charged her with forgery, false filings, conspiracy, even attempted unlawful seizure of property. Her own board abandoned her. Our side had everything: deeds, permits, video, audio, even a trail cam shot of Karen instructing her volunteers to take down my trailer before the inspectors arrived. The best part, old Harold Driscoll himself took the stand, said I told that woman I wouldn't sell her dirt if she offered me gold. She's a liar, always was. The jury didn't need long. Guilty on all counts. Karen got 10 years, 5 minimum for fraud and conspiracy. Her henchmen 3 years each, except for the scared kid who turned state's evidence and got community service. The judge made the HOA pay me $680,000 in damages, retract every claim, issue a notarized apology for the world to see. They even had to take down every sign map and file showing my land as theirs. Never saw Karen again, but her lawyers tried to appeal. Nobody wanted her case. The day the ruling was final, I watched a crew weld a hand-forged steel sign to my new gate, private property, etched in silver. Ran my hand over the letters, felt the mountain in my bones. Helicopter supply drop came in. Roof went up, cedar filled the air. The cabin rose stubborn and proud. The HOA new management, new apologies, sent me a letter inviting me to dialogue and maybe even name a park after me. I framed it, put it in the outhouse where it belonged. One morning, an older couple knocked at the gate. The Harrisons said they used to picnic on this ridge before the HOA closed it off. I let them up, made coffee, listened to their stories, watched the valley with them. Before they left, they handed me a photo, Harold Driscoll in the clearing next to a keep out sign, handwritten, "This land's mine." I don't care what the suits say. I laughed, hung it above the fireplace next to the court ruling. So what did I build out there? Not just a cabin. I reclaimed a promise, one the mountain made to every stubborn soul who ever tried to live free on its shoulders. And you better believe the mountain remembers. Now tell me, where do you stand? Should a bunch of paperwork and fake maps let anybody steal what's yours? Have you ever had to fight tooth and nail for what you believe in? Drop a comment. Tell me your story, and let's talk about what real justice looks like out here or anywhere.